Oh my God. I do not know whether to laugh or cry. Like, so, obviously I've come home, I'm visiting the UK for 5 weeks, and I usually live in Australia. Anyway, I have got a hire car, which is this. It's cost me £700 for 2 weeks. I'm sweating and that stress how much it's cost me. And that's like $1,400, and I'm literally like, I just can't get my head around it. What? It's so expensive over here. Like, I genuinely I'm shocked. So do you know what I'm going to be doing in this car? I'm going to be sleeping in this car. I'm literally going to be driving everywhere in this car. I want to lift to Tesco because I'm literally, I need to get my money's worth. Anyway, I need to just try and drop it because, you know, money comes back. Yeah, money comes back. Memories don't. Guess what? I better be making some memories in this because I'm telling you, like, my family were like, you've been done there. You've been boldly done. They've robbed you. And I was like, brilliant, thanks. You're not really helping the situation. Like, I don't think I've been done, because she was like, if you don't pay that, then if there's any scratches or anything on it, it's going to be, the excess is £1,500. And I was like, could you imagine I return the car? Because this was happened to me. Could you imagine I return the car, yeah? And they go, oh, Emily, there's a tiny little scratch just there. £1,500, $3,000, please. Just before I go to Italy. Like, nah, sorry. I was like, no, do you know what? That would literally just be my luck. So anyway, hope you're all having a better day than me.
So I don't know if it's just me, but I was holidaying around Europe for 3 weeks and I got back to London 2 days ago, and I feel like the holiday blues hit me so much worse in London than they did in Sydney. I feel like when I went on holiday in Sydney, I'd come back to my life and I would be so chilled. I'd be able to just go to the beach. Life is a lot easier there. It's a lot more cushier. I feel like when I come back from holiday and I get back to London, it's a lot more stressful here. It's a lot more competitive, and I feel like that's why the holiday blues hit me so much worse, because you have to grind and hustle so much harder to make ends meet in London. You go on holiday and you're just like, this is life. And I'm just wondering if any other Aussies and Kiwis feel the same. When you go on holiday and you get back to London, do the post-holiday blues last longer when you're living in London?
What in the broken Britain will promise prices coming down bullshit is this? The latest figures come out, inflation's gone up to 3.5%. What does that mean? Well, maybe interest rates go up. Now, I'm a thick and I've been a thick for a long time, but it took me a few years to figure out why they manipulate interest rates. So, when the price of things go up, called inflation, that's because they're printing a lot more money, and as a result, prices kind of, like a sponge, suck up the money and the prices of things go up. Now, when inflation starts going too high, they will move the interest rates up so that you've got less actual money to spend, thus hoping to bring inflation down. So it's all one massive con. Interest rates is the only mechanism that they've got to try and bring inflation down. And they're never going to stop printing money or borrowing money. That's the same thing. So can you remember last year when interest rates were like 7 or 8%? Sorry, not interest rates, inflation, 7 or 8%. They're now 3.5%. That means that they've not come down. It means that last year they went up 7%, and this year they're going up 3.5%. So in total, that's like 11%. So until we start going into negative interest, sorry, I keep saying that, inflation rates, the price of things is never going to come down. It's just not going to go up as fast. So yeah, broken Britain, from your leading bullshit economist that doesn't really know much. In a nutshell, that's where we are.
Have you guys ever wondered what happens when you move to London? I'm going to tell you, don't move. Do not move out of your parents' house. If you can help it, save up all the money you have. And because you'll be in a situation like me right now, where you might not get your £500 deposit back, you've had about 4 floods, your washing machine hasn't worked for 2 months, and you have a really mouldy room. I'm currently now experiencing even more home issues from the house that I've moved out of a couple of weeks ago, and it still feels like I'm living there. And nobody actually tells you the truth about living in London, or living anywhere for that matter of fact. But yeah, here is the most expensive place to live and to be. You have to pay, say your rent is like $750, no bills. Then you whap the bills on top, that's going to be like $850, $900. So currently I had to pay for Wi-Fi, £24. Then I had to pay for electricity and gas, and I had to top it up individually for a card and a stick. So that came to about £100 a month. And then you have to pay for council tax, which was extortionate. I paid it was £211 each month. So that was between split three of us. So that was like £70 each. So that's already like your rent is going up to £1,000. I'm an actor. Where's my film crew? Because I tell you, you guys would eat this shit up. I mean, good thing to say that I'm in therapy. There's not too much I can share right now, but once I can share, there's going to be a huge story time, trust me.
What in the cost of living crisis bullshit is this? Now, it's Independence Day when we're having the general election on the 4th of July. The UK and America went to war over a 2% tax on tea. Now, check this out. As you know, I'm an avid tennis coach, and I've been buying this set of balls for probably 15 years now. They're from Sports Direct. Not so long ago, I can remember when they were £13 for the 3 tubes of balls, which was just over £1 each. But if you bought 3 packets of the 3 tubes, you got them for about 32 quid, something like that. Let me show you now. $39.99 for 1 3-pack. Now, there is a mega deal on for $21.99, but that means for these 3 packs, 1, 2, 3 there, I've paid 65 quid. It wasn't long ago that same 3-pack of 3, so what we've got, 12, 24, 36 balls, would have cost me about 30 odd quid. So just about £1 a ball. That's over £2 a ball now. So, America and England went to war over a 2% tax on tea, yet we've been 100% increase in not that long. I don't even know, just over a year maybe.
The house prices in 2025. So, Bank of England base rate will continue to fall in 2025. But what we're going to see now is a divergence between Bank of England base rates and mortgage rates. So what's going to happen is you're going to get an uptick in inflation because the Bank of England won't have inflation under control, so it will start increasing. At the same time, you're going to have mortgage rates at quite a high level relatively. They might come down a little bit, but relatively they're going to stay very high. And that's because investors right now don't believe that Bank of England actually have inflation under control or have a growth plan for the economy in terms of the government. So what that means for house prices is that the base rate coming down will increase inflation, so the value of everything else around you is going to continue to increase. But house prices are going to stay depressed because of the relatively high mortgage rates. And it's going to be even worse. So what you're going to see is potentially a nominal increase in house prices of maybe like 1%, 2%. But in terms of real terms, because the price of everything else around you is going to go up at a much faster rate than your house price, in real terms, you're going to see a continued decline of real estate. By the time I was 28 years old, I built a real estate development pipeline of $115 million. In the last 18 months alone, I've accumulated £20 million real estate investment portfolio, and we're continuing to buy during what I call the valley of death. So since October 2022, we've been buying, and we're going to continue to buy all the way through 2025 with anticipation that at some point in 2026, real estate prices will increase in real terms. Now, for those of you who don't understand the difference between real value increase and nominal value increase, there are other videos on that to explain. That's not the point of today, but that's what's going to happen in 2025, looking at my crystal ball.
Okay, so I'm just having a little rant, which I usually don't do on the internet, but I hope a few of you can relate. I'm at Stansted Airport and I've just gone to pay for the parking. I was literally here for half an hour on the dot. And then by the time I got to the ticket machine, it was 1 minute or 2 minutes over. And instead of being £10, it said £18. So I called for assistance and the guy was like, yeah, if you miss it even by 1 minute, it's £18, but I'll see what I can do for you. And he actually put it down to £9. He put 50% off for me, which was very, very kind. But I just wanted to say, how is Britain, London, allowed to be doing these prices? Because £18 to drop someone off at the airport for up to 60 minutes and up to 30 minutes is £10. So you could literally spend 10 minutes dropping them off and you have to pay £10, or you can spend 35 minutes dropping them off and you have to spend £18 for parking. What is happening? What is happening? Anyway, that's my rant. Tell me what you guys think, if you can relate. I'm just in shock. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But anyway,
I don't know how this is allowed. We should all stop using the car park. It's the same thing with Westfield as well. I've noticed the prices have gone up crazy. I just think we need to strike. We need to do something. We need to do something.
Okay, here's one for you. Do you feel like you're existing, but you're not actually living the best life that you could be living right now? That is exactly how me and my husband feel. You know, and one of the reasons why we're looking to move out of the UK, and I'm going to get loads of negative comments, and do not get me wrong, like, we have had a great life up until now. We've made great memories, we've got great family, great friends, but you know when something is just missing, and it feels like you're almost just going through the motions of life, and you're not really living the best life that's right for you. And you know, for me, it's the hustle, the bustle, the constant grind. Everyone's in a rush. There's no quality of life, and no matter how hard we try, we just don't seem to get enough time as a family. Whatever it is, I think it's really important to know that you have the power to make that change, to make your life better, and that is one of the reasons we are going to be moving out of the UK.
Why is everyone leaving the UK? It feels like more and more young people are deciding to up and leave the UK, and I'm kind of curious to know why. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely understand some of the reasons why, but I want to know you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? Like, why do you guys feel like people are kind of leaving the country? I guess one of the things that could be said are, I guess, the opportunities here. I feel like maybe people are not seeing as many opportunities as they could be seeing in other countries. And I feel like that's probably one of the main reasons as to why people are kind of going to countries with better cost of living and, you know, new opportunities as well. I also feel like with the increase in kind of digital businesses, like, for example, even like, for example, TikTok or like digital marketing, online businesses like that, people can kind of work remote and work from home and also work from whatever location, you know, that suits them. I feel like these are just some of the factors that come to mind for me. But why do you feel like people are leaving the UK? I want to know your thoughts. Leave comments below and let me know. What do you think?
There's a lot of people slagging the UK off at the minute, and rightly so, to be honest. There's a lot of things wrong with it. There's a lot of reasons to get out. There's a lot of reasons to want to live somewhere else. But most people are stuck. They've got a family or a mortgage or a job that they can't quit because everything else will fall apart. Car on finance, everything's tied in. But if you are single and you can get remote work, you can earn $1,000, $2,000 a month, then you can go and live pretty much anywhere else in the world and live as the top sort of 5% would in that country in relative luxury, to be honest with you. I mean, at the minute I'm earning about £1,500 UK and I'm living in Thailand and I'm spending pretty much all of that each month. I've got a brand new scooter, nice apartment with a gym, a sauna and a pool, and I do what I want and I eat out every day.
Everyone's saying how the UK is at the moment, but what are some of the positive reasons you should move abroad rather than it just being because the UK is a mess? So overall, there's one key thing, and it's the opportunities that moving abroad presents you. When you move abroad, you have opportunities to meet new people, form new friendships, form new business relationships, maybe get in a romantic relationship. You have the opportunity to experience a new culture or cultures, and you might just find that some other cultures you feel more closely aligned to. You prefer living that way. So, for example, you might come out here to Thailand and realise that you prefer their slower pace of life, the fact that they're happier here. But equally, you might be a very career-focused person and you move to America or the UAE because you love the hustle culture that they have there. That's more closely aligned with what you want, and that helps you get towards the life goal that you have for yourself. Along the same lines, maybe you move to a country with a cheaper cost of living or lower taxation, and then you find that you've got more disposable income. You can get a better property, and that makes you happier, whatever it may be. Maybe you find a country with a climate you prefer. You come from Europe and you're sick of it being cold and shit or winter, so you move to a country that's got year-round sun, and that makes you happier. Ultimately, life is for living, and when you move abroad, you are doing more to live that life. You are experiencing more of what this world has to offer, and you are going to grow as a result of that. it doesn't just have to be a response to a shitty situation back home, even if that gives you even more reason to move abroad in the first place. Moving abroad is a positive experience for you, so take that opportunity. And if you're curious about moving abroad yourself, you've got any fears or reservations, feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram and I'm happy to answer your question or do another video on it. And for everybody else, drop a follow for more.
This country is so man. People forget how lucky they are. I've just had a friend message me and they were struggling, and I'm in a position where I can help them financially. Nothing major, not a lot. It's nothing crazy. It's just enough for a weekly shop. But the fact that we've got people who are full-time working and still, bear in mind they're on good money, unable to handle the struggles of the financial situation in this country, it blows my mind, honestly. It blows my absolute mind. It's a worry. It's a worry. So everybody out there, just think, if you don't have to ask your friend for money, you're lucky. But it could be you soon because it's not getting any better. What can you do? But the reason I'm posting this is just to say you're not alone. If you are struggling, you are not alone. So many people are going through it and it's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Why can't I afford to buy a house? Not a house, not a house for but a house. Potty mouth. You know, I work my little off. I work full time. I've got a bit of a side hustle. I have a relatively healthy deposit, I would say. But yeah, I still can't afford to buy a property. I mean, I have considered selling photos of my feet to maybe stump up the extra funds, but my trotters are rancid, to be fair, so no one's going to want those. I just find it so unfair. I really do. And what hope is there for our little babes, you know? It's pretty bleak. And maybe some will say actually mortgage isn't the be all and end all and actually just rent. But I don't know. It just feels maybe harder than it was 20 years ago. Because I have had mortgages before. Then I got divorced. So that's why I'm in this situation. But yeah,
Hi, it's me again, the person with no heating, one of probably many across the country at the moment. So the gas engineer came out this morning from SSE, even though they told me he'd be out last night, to put credit on the meter, and they've given me an entire £5, which is such a relief, because £5 gets you so far in the cost of living crisis where energy is like 300% higher than it was. It's so much money. I could heat my whole house for like 40 minutes on that. So I've just come home from work. I've checked my electric meter because I was like, this is going to be so high, this bill. And I've got £4 left. On Wednesday, I had £21 left. So now I've got no electric tomorrow and no gas because having no gas has cost me so much on the electric. I've been at work, so I couldn't call out the gas engineers to come out because I wasn't here until 5 minutes ago. So I called the number and they said, it just basically said the office is shut, so another day without heating. My last video was removed because of community guidelines because I put a public number on there, but whatever. So, yeah. But tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up with no gas and no electric, even though I've put £100 on it. On Monday. Also, I completely forgot to mention, we get priority because with SSE, because my brother who lives with me is under 18 and has an autoimmune disease, so he's disabled, and so this is how they're treating a household with a disabled child in it. So God knows how they're treating everybody else. Yeah, that's the update. I'm still cold. We're all cold in the house, aren't we, Miss Eads?
UK economy is on its knees, and I know it sounds cliche, but the UK is going to pieces. There is now literally no reason why anyone who has a thriving economic business would locate to the UK and create jobs in this country. And we're seeing that with the current status of the job market, where it's so competitive because everyone is competing for both skilled jobs and unskilled jobs. I've seen comments from people that say they're having to go through 4-round interviews for a job that pays £25,000 a year. And you've got jobs that pay £23,000 a year asking for bachelor degrees, and some are even asking for masters. So people are overqualified going into a pool of candidates that is completely saturated, applying for jobs that don't actually pay a living wage. And that pretty much sums up life in the UK right now. And with so many things going wrong in this country, it seems like the only guarantee or the only sure thing is you creating your own path. That essentially means finding a way to make money that's outside of your job that you are in more control of. With the rise of social media, there are so many ways now to make money online. From selling physical products, through to doing affiliate marketing, from getting paid for UGC to getting paid for creating content for TikTok, IG and YouTube. And I think more and more people are being pushed against a wall. They're between a rock and a hard place, and they're having to turn to methods of making money that they hadn't thought of previously. But seriously, if you're watching this video and you haven't already tried to start making money outside of your job, or if you're unemployed and have been for a while, consider starting to make money online. Go on my page, look at my previous videos. I've shared tons of examples where people are doing different side hustles and making extra money. It's getting to a point now where people will have to do these types of things for survival, so drop the pride and just start today. If you want some more ideas and tips, make sure to follow my account. I talk about side hustles, investing, pensions, and how to make money online.
I'll tell you something. They are taking the absolute mickey out of everyone who lives in this country. Great Britain, the UK. On the news again today, the cost of a pint is going up, with the average cost being above £5. It's to pay for national insurance increases, wage increases. These places just won't be able to stay open if they didn't increase the prices. It's nothing to do with them. The Mersey Bridge, or the Mersey, whatever, the bridge that you cross to go into Liverpool, or the other bridge, or the tunnel, all them prices going up this week. How? Why? They make an absolute fortune on that bridge. Greed is ruining everyone's life in this country. Everybody is ruined. There's no fun. They're stopping you from having any fun at all. They're just charging you for absolutely everything. It's time to move. Get over to Spain, €150 a pint.
What's going on with the economy? Why does it feel like everything's going to shit? Before the financial crisis, we had this big economic boom that was driven basically by a housing bubble and the creation of debt by the big banks. That turned out to be completely unsustainable, and we got the financial crisis. But the financial crisis didn't just blow up the banks, it blew up our entire economic model. Shares and houses just stopped increasing in value, and that had been the foundation of like everything. Policymakers kept trying to go back to the good old days. And so eventually they just decided to pump the financial system full of tons of new money. But that created this divided economy where basically wealth increased, which helped the rich, but income stagnated, which hurt the poor. The government just kind of ignored this problem for a really long time because they were just looking at what was going on in financial markets. But then the cost of living crisis hit and the model imploded all over again. They kept trying to go back to the times before the crisis when the rich could get richer without making everyone else poorer, but they can't because the bubble that sustained that model has burst. So instead of fixing the problem, they're blaming migrants and benefits claimants when the real issue is inequality and corrupt politicians.
How much is your water bill a month for how many people? So 2 years ago, ours was £18 a month on a water meter. So we've got a water meter at the back of our house. And we don't have a dishwasher. We use massive loads in the washing machine because it's like a 15 kilo drum. So we do really big loads and it's only on once or twice a week. And that's it. We don't have a swimming pool. We don't have a jacuzzi. We don't water the garden. We haven't got any water leaks. And it's now saying, Anglian, because I'm just on Anglian Water here at the minute, £80 a month. I don't even know what to say. How? We haven't missed any payments. And I just went on it to set up, to reinstate the direct debit because I've changed bank accounts. And it's gone to £80 a month. I've gone back through bank statements and I can see that's what we're paying. And I just don't get it. I don't understand how, when we aren't increasing, we haven't increased at all how much water we're using. How is our water bill £80 a month? I've got no leaks. I've been through everything. I've looked on the meter to make sure that it's not going round when it shouldn't be going round. How is our water bill £80 a month? And how has it gone up from £18 a month to 80 in 2 years? What the actual crap? Is anybody else paying that much? How much is your water bill? Has yours gone up that drastically? And did you pop out another 20 kids in order to make that happen? Did you have a swimming pool installed and that's why your water bill's gone up? Because we've got none of those things. I don't even water the garden.
Hey guys, so what's the deal with everyone moving out of London? You know, lots of stats coming out now about how people can't afford to live in London. People are moving out, 40% of people moving out. The reality is 28% used to move out. Now there's 40%, so 12% up, which is probably about right. And I think the reason that is because rents have been driven up so high because of stupid policies by the government. And just the whole approach to the whole, you know, haphazard, you know, 13 or 16 different housing ministers, like just an absolute, you know, it's just ridiculous what's been going on. But the bottom line is, on a lot of places in London, what we've found is the rents have gone up so much that now, you know, you might have been on $1,250 or $1,400. Now your rent is $2,000. You know, which is an incredible jump. But the reality is that is where the market is. Now, if you're living there and your rent goes up by that much, can you keep affording, along with the cost of living crisis, along with all this? Probably not. So you're having to make a decision to move out to where? Normally you'd say ripple effect. You'll move out, you know, to the next tube station or the next, you know, area. And that's what's happening, unfortunately, is people are having to move out, and because they're being pushed out, you know. Now, normally, you know, the rent creeps up year after year after year, so it's gradual. What's happened now is it's gone a massive jump. Now, unfortunately, as you know, just having a chat with one of our landlords, he said, look, you know, my mortgages have gone up $400 or $500, but my rents have only gone up $250. So he's out of pocket $250, plus his insurance has quadrupled, you know, that he's paying on the property because, you know, from the service charge and that. So all of a sudden now he's sitting here going, I need to sell this one because I can't afford it. Yeah. And that is the pain that landlords are going through, but also it's the pain that tenants are going through. And unfortunately, the government and the powers that be have got, you know, landlords and tenants fighting each other, as opposed to pointing the finger where it should be, which is the incompetent leadership of the Tory government. And unfortunately, Labor is not going to do any better, you know. So what do we do? Well, you know, I mean, we need a third alternative. In fact, what we really need is to get democracy back and get a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and, you know, choice, real choice back, because we haven't been given that. It's been taken away from us. Anyway, let's not get into the politics, but bottom line is that is why people are moving out of London, is because rents have gone up so much they don't have a choice. They can't afford to live here anymore if they're on a fixed income, with the cost of living crisis and with all this sort of stuff. There's nothing wrong with London per se. It's the fact that the demographics and the wage side of things has changed. Okay. All right, guys, any questions in the comment? Hopefully that'll be quite topical, and we'll get a few people who aren't very happy about my comments, but why not? It's the truth. Let's see you guys. Bye.
These are the reasons why I decided to leave London again. Firstly, and this will come as no surprise, is obviously rent. I currently live alone in a studio flat in Zone 3, and I used to pay £900, bills included, but the rent has just gone up to £1,200, which still is not that bad for London, but it's only gonna go up from here, and I don't want to live with other people, so it's enough from me. Reason number 2, salaries are not in line with the cost of living. People think salaries in London are much higher, but this isn't really the case. And if I decided to stay and pay £1,200 for rent only, that would be 60% of my current salary. 60%! Are we nuts? Reason number 3 for me is friends as well. In my opinion, London can be quite lonely, and I don't really have a close group of friends. I might have a few friends from different chapters of my life, and yeah, I might see a friend from brunch on a Sunday and another friend from drinks on a Wednesday evening, but I don't really have like a community or a group that I feel part of. And most nights I just come home and scroll on TikTok, so I'm not necessarily lonely because I love my me time, but I don't know, I feel the need to meet new people, and I don't see that happening in London. Number 4, weather. And I think it goes without saying, but I'm just a sun girly and I really can't be productive. Like the grey and the clouds, it's enough from me. And I just needed to leave before depression season kicks in. And finally, the lifestyle. I feel like most people here are just, me included actually, are just on survival mode, mostly living to work rather than the other way around. And maybe we're gonna go go to the pub or a restaurant at the weekend because we can't really afford other fancy activities when we pay 60% of our salaries just on rent. And don't get me started on transport. But despite all of these reasons, I don't want to be too negative. I do love London. It's a city full of opportunities, honestly. And that's actually what I missed the most last year when I left. And I know for a fact that I'm gonna miss it again. But recently, it's just been feeling draining and not fun anymore. So at least at this moment of my life, I feel like it's not worth it. But never say never. I might be back.
Now, why is everyone leaving the UK? I've personally left, so I can tell you my 3 reasons. But I was watching a video that triggered this, me creating this, and the CEO of Monzo said, Britain is attached to a rich city with an anti-entrepreneurial mindset. And it made me think. So one of the main reasons why I left is because Britain has like a depressing culture. We take a lot of shit and don't do anything about it. For example, if you have a conversation with someone and ask how their life is, they'll basically tell you that they're not enjoying it, but they won't do anything about it. Oh, Britain's like this, but I don't know, we can't do anything about it. Oh, my job's rubbish, but I can't do anything about it. I'll just stay here. And that is simply not the case. You need to do better for yourself, and you can actually make improvements. You can leave. If I had any piece of advice to any 20-year-old or someone that can take risks in their life, it would be to go and explore a different city, go and see what else in the world has to offer you. And you don't have to leave for good. You can go back to England. I still enjoy going back to England, but I just could not see myself living there. Also, I'd like to point out that the quality of life in England is not that great. Even if you're in a middle-class position, the average rental price in London is £2,500. So imagine, utilities on top. I know gas is up 94% than it was 4 years ago. That's a huge increase. My personal bills in Liverpool, I was living up north, so it was cheaper. My utilities will come into £400 per month, and my car insurance was £300 per month. It keeps you locked in that cycle. So if you've got a skill set, if you can work from your laptop or work from home, why are you not leaving and living a better life? I'd rather be making 30k a year living here in Lithuania than making 100k living in the UK. Purely because life is just an endless cycle. You wake up, maybe go to the gym, you go to work, and you repeat. I finally started making videos. I finally started putting myself out there and making content, and that was something that I never would have done in the UK, because you're surrounded by people that are ready to drag you down, and you never realise how much your environment changes you until you actually leave.